My dear brothers and sisters, sometimes life will put you in the company of people who drain your light, who question your worth, and who disguise control as love. And you ask yourself, Lord, why me? Why did you allow this pain, this manipulation, this storm? But hear me now. God never places you in the path of a narcissist to break you. He places you there to awaken you. See, the narcissist will test your boundaries. They will mirror your beauty to steal your reflection. They will charm you with words dipped in honey, then cut you with silence sharp as glass. But even in that pain, there is divine purpose. Because through them you will learn what love is not. Through them you will discover the strength of your own voice. Through them you will understand that peace is not something another person can give you. It is something you must protect within yourself. My beloved, when life delivers you into the hands of a soul that cannot love you right, do not think the heavens have turned their face from you. Do not cry out in despair and say, Lord, why did you allow this? For God, in His infinite wisdom, never places you anywhere without purpose. The roads you walk, the hearts you encounter, even the storms that shake your peace, they are all woven into the divine fabric of your becoming. Sometimes God will send you into the arms of a narcissist not to punish you, but to prepare you. You see, pain has a way of teaching that comfort never could. Growth blooms in the soil of discomfort, not ease. And when you find yourself entangled with someone who manipulates your kindness, twists your truth, and makes you doubt your very worth, that is not the end of your story. That is the beginning of your awakening. Oh child, I know it feels cruel at first. The love that started like sunlight begins to feel like a shadow. The words that once lifted you begin to tear you apart. You ask yourself, how could something that felt so divine turn so destructive? But remember this, the Lord never wastes pain. He will use even the cruelty of others as a chisel to carve your strength, as a mirror to show you what in yourself still needs healing. God does not send you to a narcissist so you can learn how to please them. He sends you there so you can learn to honor yourself. Because when you are in the presence of someone who constantly diminishes your light, you begin to realize how sacred that light truly is. You begin to guard it. You begin to protect it like a precious flame. There is something holy about the moment you stop asking, why won't they love me right? And begin to say, why am I allowing myself to stay where I am not cherished? That, my friend, is the beginning of revelation. That is when you start to hear God whisper, you are not here to be destroyed, you are here to be delivered. Every tear you cry is a baptism of rebirth. Every sleepless night is a seed of wisdom. For the narcissist is not just a person, they are an experience designed to reveal the depth of your spirit. They show you the strength of your boundaries, the power of your voice, and the necessity of your self-love. There are people sent into your life to heal you, and there are those sent to reveal what still needs healing. The narcissist belongs to the second group. They reflect back to you the wounds you've ignored, the insecurities you've silenced, the places where you've mistaken pain for passion. Through them, God says, my child, you are still giving your pearls to those who cannot see their value. You are still trying to prove what I have already declared, that you are enough. Do not let your heart grow bitter because of what they did not give you. They could not give what they do not possess. They crave admiration because they cannot stand in their own truth. They take because they have never learned how to receive with humility. They wound because they are too afraid to heal. So instead of asking why they hurt you, ask what the pain came to teach you. The Lord often hides His greatest lessons in the folds of hardship. You will not find divine revelation in comfort. You will find it in the places where your faith was tested and your spirit stretched. When God places you in the presence of a narcissist, He is refining your discernment. He is saying, my child, learn to recognize false light. Learn to listen not to words but to energy. Learn that love without respect is not love at all. And oh, how powerful you become once you understand that. Once you stop chasing validation from those incapable of giving it, you begin to walk with a quiet strength. You learn to sit in your own company and feel peace, not loneliness. You realize that the divine has always been within you, and that no one's rejection can erase what God Himself has written on your soul. So when you think of that person, that narcissist who once made you question your worth, do not curse the encounter. Bless it, for through them you met yourself. Through their cruelty you discovered compassion. Through their manipulation you found truth. And through your own heartbreak you found heaven's hand guiding you toward freedom. You see, God often places us in the fire not to burn us, but to reveal what cannot be consumed. The narcissist is that fire. They strip away the illusions of who you thought you were, of what you believed love required, until only your authentic self remains. And when you rise from those ashes, you rise stronger, wiser, and more radiant than ever before. Yes, it hurts to be misunderstood. Yes, it breaks your heart to love someone who only loves control. But the God who allowed it will also heal it. The same God who placed you there will pull you out when the lesson is learned. And when he does, you will stand taller, speak clearer, love deeper, not because of them, but because of what you learned through them. So if you find yourself asking, "Why, Lord, why would you put me through this?" listen gently for his answer. I placed you there not to punish you, but to polish you, not to end you, but to elevate you. You were not in their life to lose yourself, you were there to find yourself. And when you finally walk away from that storm, do not look back in anger, look back in gratitude. For even the thorns had purpose, even the pain had meaning. It was all part of the divine arrangement to lead you closer, not to them, but to you. That is why, my dear, when God places you in a narcissist's life, it is never random. It is a sacred appointment disguised as chaos. And when the lesson is complete, when your spirit has gathered all its strength, God himself will close that chapter, not with vengeance, but with victory. And you will walk forward radiant and free, whispering, "Thank you, Lord. I understand now. You never abandoned me. You were shaping me all along." My dear heart, there are some lessons that can only be learned through heartbreak. Some truths that only reveal themselves when your tears become your teacher. And one of the most powerful lessons God will ever allow you to learn is this: what love is not. For you see, it is easy to mistake attention for affection, control for care, and possession for passion. When a narcissist enters your life, they wear the mask of love so convincingly that you begin to believe you have met your soul's home. They study your heart, your dreams, your every expression of tenderness. They mirror your light so perfectly that you think, "Finally, someone who understands me." But beloved, what they show you is not reflection, it is imitation. It is a performance crafted to bind you to illusion. And yet, even that painful deception carries divine purpose. For God knows that sometimes his children must encounter false love before they can recognize true love. Sometimes he allows the counterfeit to cross your path so that when the authentic arrives, you will not question it, you will know it. The narcissist teaches by contrast. Through their selfishness, you learn self-respect. Through their disregard, you learn discernment. Through their cruelty, you learn compassion for yourself. They make you see that love, real love, does not humiliate, does not demand silence, does not thrive on fear. Real love is steady. It listens. It nurtures. It gives without keeping score. But a narcissist love, oh child, it is conditional. It is built on admiration, not understanding, on control, not connection. They love the way you make them feel, not who you are. And when the applause stops, when you begin to speak your truth or set your boundaries, their affection turns to anger. Their charm turns to coldness. The same hands that once reached for you now push you away. And you stand there, confused, wounded, wondering what changed. What changed, my dear, is not your worth, it is your awareness. You began to see through the mask. You began to notice that love should not hurt this way, that devotion should not demand the death of your joy. And in that realization, you are awakening to divine truth. God sometimes allows your heart to break so that the false can fall away. He knows that if you only experienced love that was soft and easy, you might never know how to protect yourself from the love that disguises itself in pain. So he lets you taste the bitterness of manipulation, not to make you suffer, but to make you wise. When you have loved a narcissist, you come to understand that real love never asks you to shrink so someone else can shine. It never asks you to silence your song so another can be heard. It never makes you doubt the very goodness God placed in you. Love, the kind that comes from the divine, celebrates you. It does not compete with you. It values your voice. It does not erase it. In the garden of life, the narcissist is the thorn that teaches you how to handle the rose. Their presence wounds you, yes, but it also awakens your sense of self. You begin to recognize the patterns, the gaslighting, the lies dressed as concern, the apologies that never carry change. And slowly you stop believing their version of you. You stop chasing their approval like water in a desert. You begin to return home to yourself. Do not curse that journey, for though it is bitter, it births your wisdom. Every time they dismissed your feelings, God was teaching you to honor them. Every time they made you doubt your reality, God was teaching you to trust your intuition. Every time they tried to dim your light, God whispered, "Shine brighter." Oh, how beautiful it is when you finally understand. You were never too much, you were simply too authentic for someone who survives on illusion. You were never too emotional, you were simply too alive for someone afraid of depth. The narcissist's rejection was not evidence of your inadequacy, it was evidence of their inability to love truth. And when you finally see that, when you no longer crave their validation, you begin to stand in your power. You begin to realize that love does not need to be begged for. It does not need to be chased. The love meant for you will recognize you. It will not confuse you, deplete you, or demand your surrender. It will uplift you, restore you, and remind you of who you are in God's eyes. The narcissist's counterfeit love teaches you to stop mistaking intensity for intimacy. It teaches you to stop believing that chaos is a sign of passion. It shows you that love should feel like peace, not performance. It should feel like home, not a battlefield. And when you walk away from that storm, do not carry shame with you, carry wisdom. For you have graduated from one of life's hardest lessons. You now know that love is not flattery that fades, not affection that fluctuates, not control disguised as care. Love is freedom. Love is truth. Love is seeing and being seen, not as a possession but as a partner. So lift your head high, dear one. You did not lose in that relationship. You learned. You did not fail. You evolved. You learned that you cannot save someone who refuses to see their own reflection. You learned that compassion does not mean self-sacrifice. You learned that it is not your duty to heal what you did not break. And perhaps most beautifully, you learned that your heart, even after betrayal, still knows how to love. That is grace. That is God. For no narcissist, no betrayal, no manipulation can erase the divine capacity to love that God placed within you. So thank them, not with your words, but with your healing. Thank them by refusing to live small. Thank them by loving yourself so deeply that you never again accept counterfeit affection as real. Thank them by walking in truth, the truth that now lives in your bones. And when you love again, you will love from a higher place. You will no longer be blinded by charm or fooled by grand gestures. You will seek consistency, gentleness, humility. You will look for God's reflection, not man's performance. That, my dear, is the divine purpose of the pain. To teach you the difference between illusion and intimacy, between control and connection, between infatuation and love. And when you finally understand what love is not, you open your heart to receive what love truly is. My beloved, there are seasons in life when the soil beneath your feet feels like it's cracking, when the very ground that once held you firm begins to tremble. You wonder why the calm you prayed for never came, why peace feels delayed, why love turns to lessons. But child, hear me when I say this. Every ounce of pain you have endured is not punishment. It is preparation. God is not trying to break you. He is building you. He is preparing you for something that requires the strength only pain can produce. When you have walked through the wilderness of heartbreak, when you have faced the cruel reflection of a narcissist's deceit, you come to know something sacred. Survival is not the goal, transformation is. God does not want you to just endure. He wants you to evolve. The tears you've cried are watering the seeds of wisdom. The silence you've endured is tuning your ear to His voice. The disappointment you've felt is chiseling away every illusion that stood between you and your divine purpose. Oh, how we resist the lessons that come wrapped in suffering. We want blessings that arrive like sunlight, not storms. We want growth that feels gentle, not growth that shakes us to our core. But baby roses do not bloom in comfort. They must push through the dirt, through the darkness, through the unseen, before their fragrance fills the air. And so it is with your spirit. You must be pressed to be powerful. You must be broken open to be whole. The narcissist, that master manipulator of emotion, becomes, in God's hands, a teacher. Not because their cruelty is righteous, but because God can redeem even the most painful encounters. When you meet someone who drains you, deceives you, and diminishes your worth, you are being shown your own strength. You are being taught to set boundaries, to speak up, to walk away, to choose peace over chaos. And every time you do, your spirit stretches into its divine maturity. You see, you could not have learned discernment without deception. You could not have learned self-love without betrayal. You could not have learned forgiveness without first having something to forgive. God knows that wisdom must be earned through experience, not simply spoken through words. That is why He allows certain people, certain storms, certain heartbreaks to enter your life, not to defeat you, but to deepen you. When you look back, you will see that the very thing that hurt you the most became the thing that helped you the most. That manipulation made you mindful. That heartbreak made you humble. That rejection made you resilient. Every scar on your soul carries a story, and every story becomes your testimony. And your testimony, my dear, is your ministry. For how can you lead others out of darkness if you have never known what it feels like to walk through it? God will use your pain to prepare you to help others heal. He will take what the enemy meant for evil and turn it into light. That's His way. He does not waste anything, not even heartbreak. He recycles it into purpose. You will stand before someone one day, someone whose eyes carry the same ache yours once did, and you will say, I know what that feels like, and I promise you, you will rise. And they will believe you because they will feel the truth of your journey in your voice. The preparation that comes through pain is not visible at first. You will not recognize it while you are weeping on your bathroom floor, begging for answers. You will not understand it while you're replaying conversations, wondering how someone could love you so little and lie so much. But later, when you have healed, when peace returns to your heart like a sunrise after a long night, you will see that was God's hand, that was divine design. He was not ignoring you, He was instructing you. He was strengthening your backbone, steadying your heart, sharpening your vision. He was preparing you to never again confuse attachment with love, pity with compassion, or loneliness with need. He was preparing you to walk into rooms that your former self could not have endured. He was preparing you to speak with wisdom that can only come from having survived the storm. And oh, how beautiful you will be when you rise. Not untouched, not unscarred, but unshaken. You will have eyes that see truth, a voice that speaks light, and a heart that knows peace is the greatest treasure of all. The same storm that once frightened you will one day remind you of your strength. You will bless what once broke you because you will understand that without it, you would never have met your higher self. So when you find yourself in pain, do not say, Lord, why me? Instead whisper, Lord, what are you preparing me for? For God does not take you through the valley without a mountaintop in mind. He does not strip away without the intention to restore. Every ending in God's plan is the seed of a beginning, and the soil of that beginning is often watered with tears. Preparation is a holy process. It happens in private. It happens when no one sees your struggle but God. It happens when you are forced to stand alone, to find faith in your own heartbeat, to believe that healing is possible even when it feels far away. And when the season shifts, when you emerge from the fire refined and radiant, you will realize that God was never distant. He was with you in every moment, guiding, guarding, and growing you. My dear, what you have walked through has not been in vain. Every pain was purposeful. Every betrayal was a bridge. Every sleepless night was a sacred invitation to rise. You have been prepared, not for mediocrity, but for mastery, not for bitterness, but for brilliance. So hold your head high, child of God. Walk forward with grace. You are not defined by what happened to you. You are defined by what God is doing through you. The narcissist, the heartbreak, the struggle, they were all chapters in a larger story of resurrection. You have been prepared, shaped, and refined for divine greatness. And when you speak now, your words will carry weight because they were born of endurance. When you love again, it will be pure because you will love from wisdom, not from wound. And when you pray, heaven will listen because your voice carries the sound of one who has walked through the fire and found faith on the other side. So take heart, my dear. You have not been punished, you have been prepared, and your preparation has made you unstoppable. My beloved, there comes a time in every soul's journey when you must understand the holy mystery of reflection. That sometimes God does not send you into someone's life for romance, for comfort, or for companionship. Sometimes He sends you there as a mirror, as a messenger, as light meant to reveal what has long been hidden in shadow. That is why when you entered the life of the narcissist, you did not come empty-handed. You came carrying the glow of empathy, the softness of truth, the fragrance of grace. You came bearing what they had lost long ago, the memory of love in its purest form. The narcissist's heart child is a desert pretending to be a garden. They are parched with the thirst for validation, yet they refuse to drink from the well of humility. They need your light, your warmth, your gentle understanding, not because they cherish it, but because without it they cannot feel alive. When you met them, you became their mirror. You showed them what love could look like, what honesty sounded like, what peace felt like. But instead of receiving your light and being transformed by it, they tried to possess it, to control it, to dim it until it reflected only their desire. Oh, but light cannot be caged. It was never meant to be owned. It was meant to shine. And that, my dear, is what you must remember. You were not sent to bow before their brokenness. You were sent to remind them, and yourself, that divine love cannot be manipulated. You were their mirror, but they were also yours. Through them you saw your own capacity to love deeply, to forgive fully, to endure patiently. You also saw the places within yourself where you still sought approval, where you still mistook attention for affection, where you still gave too much in the hope of being seen. The narcissist reflected both your light and your wounds. And when you looked into that reflection long enough, you realized that the healing you needed was not in their hands. It was in your own. Sometimes God places you in the life of a narcissist to awaken you to yourself, to show you how radiant your soul is when placed beside someone who cannot recognize beauty beyond their own reflection. You are the light they tried to steal but could not extinguish. You are the truth they tried to twist but could not erase. You are the mirror that, even when cracked, still revealed God's glory. The narcissist runs from mirrors that show them their emptiness. They prefer the kind that flatter, not the kind that heal. But God sent you as a divine interruption, a reflection they could not control. Your compassion confronted their emptiness. Your faithfulness revealed their falsehood. Your presence stirred something in them they could neither face nor destroy, the memory of the soul they abandoned. But understand this, child. You were never meant to stay there forever. You were meant to shine long enough to expose the truth, to bring light to what was hidden and then to rise. You were sent as a revelation, not as a rescuer. You were sent to remind them of God's reflection, not to replace it. And when your purpose in their story was complete, when the lesson had been spoken through your very existence, God whispered, "Now it is time to go." Leaving does not mean failure. It means fulfillment. You have completed your divine assignment. You have served as the mirror, the messenger, the light. Now the next chapter calls you to reflect that same love inward to yourself. There is holiness in being the mirror, but there is wisdom in knowing when to turn away. You cannot force someone to see themselves if they refuse to look. You cannot heal someone who finds comfort in their chaos. You cannot save someone who worships their wounds. That is not your burden to bear. That is God's work to do. So when you walk away from the narcissist, do not walk away in bitterness, walk away in blessing. Whisper a prayer, not of revenge but of release. Lord, may they one day see the truth, and may my light guide me home because your journey is not about proving your goodness, it is about preserving your spirit. And oh, how powerful you become when you finally realize that your worth is not dependent on being needed. You were sent as light, not fuel. You were sent to reflect God's love, not to be consumed by another's emptiness. The narcissist may never acknowledge the gift of your presence, but heaven does. God saw how you stayed kind when you could have turned cold. He saw how you prayed for the one who wounded you. He saw how you kept your faith when your heart was breaking. And he says to you now, well done, my child. You carried my light where others dared not go. You were the mirror that revealed you were the candle in the cave. You were the sermon they heard not in words but in your endurance. So, take heart. Do not be ashamed that you loved someone who could not love you back. That love was never wasted. Every drop of it soaked into the soil of your purpose. Every act of kindness was a seed of divine growth. Every tear watered your becoming. You were the mirror that taught by shining, and now you shine brighter than ever before. When you finally look back, you will see that the encounter was never about who they were. It was about who you were becoming. You were never meant to reflect their image. You were meant to rediscover your own. And now you walk in truth. You walk in light. You walk in peace. You were the mirror that reflected heaven in the face of hell. You were the lamp that revealed truth in the house of deception. And though your presence unsettled their darkness, it completed your destiny. For now you understand you were never just in their life to teach them. You were there so God could teach you who you truly are, radiant, unbreakable, divine. And that, my dear, is the beauty of being chosen as the mirror. You leave behind a reflection that even time cannot erase, and you walk forward shining with the light of your Creator, untouchable, unshakable, and free. My beloved, there is a moment in every storm when the thunder quiets, when the rain no longer falls in fury but in rhythm. And in that calm you realize something sacred. The storm was never meant to drown you, it was meant to cleanse you. It was meant to wash away all that was false so that the truth within you could rise. Healing, my child, is not the absence of pain, it is the transformation of it. When you walk away from the narcissist, you do not simply walk away from a person. You walk away from the confusion, from the doubt, from the endless dance of proving your worth. You walk away from the version of yourself that thought love meant enduring cruelty. And as you take that first trembling step toward freedom, you begin to realize what tried to destroy you has become the very thing that defines your strength. For every heart that has been shattered, there comes a season of reconstruction. The cracks do not make you weak. They make you wise. They let the light in. They remind you that survival was never the goal, resurrection was. You see, God does not heal you back into who you were before the pain. He heals you into someone new, someone refined by the fire of experience. It takes courage to heal. It takes faith to forgive yourself for staying too long, for giving too much, for believing too deeply in someone who could not see your value. But healing is not about rewriting the past. It is about reclaiming the present. It is about saying, I will not let what happened to me define who I become. It is about standing before your reflection and saying, even with the scars, I am still beautiful. I am still chosen. I am still worthy of love. When God begins to heal you, He does not start with the surface. He starts with the soul. He touches the places you hid, the wounds you disguised as strength, the tears you never let fall. And as He mends you, you begin to feel lighter, freer, more alive. You start to understand that forgiveness is not for them. It is for you. It is the release of your spirit from the grip of pain. It is saying, I will no longer drink poison hoping someone else will fall. The narcissist may never apologize. They may never acknowledge the harm they caused. But your healing does not depend on their repentance. It depends on your release. When you let go, you do not excuse their behavior. You simply refuse to let it define your destiny. You understand that carrying resentment is too heavy a load for a heart made for love. And as you heal, you rise. Not suddenly, not all at once, but like the dawn, steady, radiant, unstoppable. Each day you wake and breathe a little deeper. Each morning you smile a little easier. The weight lifts, the fog clears, and you begin to see yourself again. The you that God created before the pain tried to change your name. Healing transforms your vision. You no longer see your past as punishment, but as preparation. You no longer see yourself as victim, but as vessel. For the very pain that once silenced you becomes the power that makes your voice echo with truth. You will speak now with the authority of one who has survived the storm and learned to dance in the rain. When you heal, you stop asking, "Why did they hurt me?" and begin to ask, "What did this teach me?" You realize that pain was the classroom and God was the teacher. The lessons are written in the lines of your story. Patience, discernment, self-worth, compassion. You no longer chase closure, you become it. You no longer seek validation, you embody it. You no longer live from fear, you move with faith. And oh, how beautiful it is when you finally reach that place of peace. The same places that once triggered your pain now remind you of your triumph. The same voice that once trembled in confusion now speaks with calm authority. You begin to thank God, yes, thank Him for the pain that once broke you, because you see now that it brought you home to yourself. You will find joy again, my dear. It will not come in the way it used to. It will not depend on others. It will spring from within you, quiet and constant, like a well that never runs dry. You will laugh again, not because life is perfect, but because your spirit has been set free. You will love again, not with fear, but with clarity. You will recognize red flags not as invitations, but as warnings. You will cherish peace like a treasure, and you will no longer allow anyone to bargain it away. For healing is not forgetting. It is remembering without pain. It is looking back and saying, "That was part of my journey, but it no longer defines me." It is holding your scars not as signs of shame, but as medals of survival. It is realizing that your heart did not break to stay broken. It broke to expand. God will use your healed heart to heal others. You will become the voice for those still trapped in silence. You will become the strength for those who think they cannot go on. You will stand as living proof that the human spirit, when guided by divine love, cannot be destroyed. You will become what you once needed: hope. And one day you will meet someone who sees you, not your wounds, not your past, but you. Someone who values the lessons your journey taught you, who loves your resilience, who honors your peace. And you will smile because you will know this is what it feels like to be loved right. But even before that day comes, know this truth: you are already whole. You are already enough. You are already loved beyond measure by the one who carried you through every dark night. So stand tall, my dear. Lift your chin. You are not broken. You are reborn. You are not damaged. You are divine. Every tear you shed watered the garden of your rebirth. Every heartbreak taught you to listen to God's whisper. Every goodbye was God's gentle redirection toward your destiny. Healing has turned your wounds into wisdom, your pain into power, your suffering into sacred strength. And now you walk not as one who was destroyed, but as one who was delivered. You walk as proof that what was meant to harm you has become the very foundation of your freedom. Yes, my child, you are healed not by forgetting, but by transforming. You are the living testament of God's grace, and the world needs your light more than ever before.